Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. We must use time creatively, in the knowledge that the time is always ripe to do right. The quality, not the longevity, of one's life is what is important. The past is prophetic in that it asserts loudly that wars are poor chisels for carving out peaceful tomorrows. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love. It is not enough to say we must not wage war, it is necessary to love peace and sacrifice for it. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Man must evolve for all human conflict a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation. The foundation of such a method is love. No one really knows why they are alive until they know what they die for. A man who won't die for something is not fit to live. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Those who are not looking for happiness are the most likely to find it, because those who are searching forget that the surest way to be happy is to seek happiness for others. Whatever your life's work is, do it well. A man should do his job so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn could do it no better. The art of acceptance is the art of making someone who has just done you a small favor wish that he might have done you a greater one. We must concentrate not merely on the negative expulsion of war, but the positive affirmation of peace. Nothing in all the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Forgiveness is not an occasional act, it is a constant attitude. The God whom we worship is not a weak and incompetent God. He is able to beat back gigantic waves of opposition and to bring low prodigious mountains of evil. The ringing testimony of the Christian faith is that God is able. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. We are prone to judge success by the index of our salaries or the size of our automobiles rather than by the quality of our service and relationship to mankind. Not everybody can be famous, but everybody can be great, because greatness is determined by service. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. People fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. The soft-minded man always fears change. He feels security in the status quo, and he has an almost morbid fear of the new. For him, the greatest pain is the pain of a new idea. Almost always, the creative dedicated minority has made the world better. He who passively accepts evil is as much involved in it as he who helps to perpetrate it. He who accepts evil without protesting against it is really cooperating with it. Whatever affects one directly, affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. I came to the conclusion that there is an existential moment in your life and you must decide to speak for yourself. Nobody else can speak for you. When you are right, you cannot be too radical. When you are wrong, you cannot be too conservative. That old law about an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind. The time is always right to do the right thing. Never be afraid to do what's right, especially if the well-being of a person or animal is at stake. Society's punishments are small compared to the wounds we inflict on our soul when we look the other way. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Never succumb to the temptation of bitterness. I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. A lie cannot live. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. If you can't be a sun, be a star, for it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best of whatever you are. One has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. The silence of the good people is more dangerous than the brutality of the bad people. There is nothing more majestic than the determined courage of individuals willing to suffer and sacrifice for their freedom and dignity. Every man must decide whether he will walk in the light of creative altruism or in the darkness of destructive selfishness. We must speak with all the humility that is appropriate to our limited vision, but we must speak. We may have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. I want to be the white man's brother, not his brother-in-law. We who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension, we merely bring to the surface the hidden tension that is already alive. The moral arc of the universe bends at the elbow of justice. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. We will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. At the center of nonviolence stands the principle of love. I am not interested in power for power's sake, but I'm interested in power that is moral, that is right, and that is good. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health care is the most shocking and inhumane. A nation or civilization that continues to produce soft-minded men purchases its own spiritual death on the installment plan. find a voice in a whisper. What is wrong in the world today is that the nations of the world are engaged in a bitter, colossal contest for supremacy. We will have to repent in this generation not merely for the hateful words and actions of the bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people. I have a dream that one day little black boys and girls will be holding hands with little white boys and girls. The end of life is not to be happy, nor to achieve pleasure and avoid pain, but to do the will of God, come what may. Violence brings only temporary victories. Violence, by creating many more social problems than it solves, never brings permanent peace.